Decide to achieve your dreams, your goals at all costs. My eyes were clouded with tears. The experience I had at the front of Senate Building, National Assembly, Nigeria. And that's Mr. Friday. My clients are calling. I'm just going in to deliver this. He maltreated me. They bullied me at that gate that morning. Hello, gentlemen and ladies of influence. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. I greet you again according to your time and location. I was trekking to church, and all of a sudden I noticed this little boy that was at the height and peak of his energy and strength, trying to overtake me. And then when I noticed that, deliberately I slowed down a little. He was outstretching his muscles, just trying to keep pace with me. And I allowed this boy to pace up. I allowed him to overtake me a little. He noticed that he had given a little gap, and then he slowed down. And then deliberately I paced up again and overtook him again. And then that point where I overtook him, he had to begin to stretch his muscles beyond their abilities. Gentlemen, now here's what's significant about this. This drama continued for a while, and all of a sudden I noticed this guy had gotten to the front of his mother's shop where that was his destination. So once he got to the front of his mother's shop, he stopped. And I looked at him. There was a beautiful, big, beautiful smile on his eyes. I looked at him, I gave him a wonderful smile. But then something dropped up from that his smile. Once you achieve a goal, it produces a sweet savor in your soul. A dream achieved is sweet to the soul. But more to this, that drama took me back to the book called The Measure of a Man, written by Viktor Frankl, where he gave an illustration. He said, there's something unspoken that happens when two persons go on a walk. And what's that? When you and I go on a walk, he said, it's either you adjust to my pace or I adjust to your pace. Now Les Brown asks a question, very unique question. Whose pace have you adjusted to? On your journey to greatness, whose pace have you adjusted to? Whose pace have I adjusted to? Now, this adjustment here can be either positive or negative. Positive, where you have to pace up, just like that little boy. Positive, where you have to stretch yourself out of your ways, out of your abilities. You have to stretch yourself, go against the odds. Outstretch your muscles and your veins. Outstretch your abilities. Yes, it could be positive. This stretch could be positive, where, let's say, my speed, the velocity of my speed is higher than yours. And you have to go against your abilities to outstretch your veins, outstretch your muscles, and do what you can, put in more energy into this to see that you keep pace with me, that you maintain pace with me. That's positive. So you got to watch who you go on a walk with. But then it's negative, where I have to, yes, the velocity of my speed is higher than your own, but yet I have to slow down to wait for you. To be patient with you, I have to slow down to your pace. And because I'm working with someone who's slower than I, who's not willing to outstretch him or herself, that journey, that movement, that walk delays my speed, delays my velocity, and that makes me to be unable to achieve my dreams and my goals. Where even if I have to, by chance, I achieve my goals and dreams, I won't do that later than I could have done that. So I want to ask you, who are you going on a walk with? And this takes us to the old African proverb that says, birds of the same feather, they flock together. Who are you flocking with, man? Watch who you go on a walk with. Gentlemen, ladies of influence, who are you walking with? Who are you moving with? Do not go and walk with people who are slower than you, people who are not heading the same direction, people who do not share your vision, people who do not share your value system and your belief system and your philosophy of life. Do not go and walk with such people. If you want to grow, if you want to achieve your dreams, if you want to achieve and hit that goal, do not go on a walk with people who are going to lead you to a wrong destination or to the right destination but slower. No. Look for people who are faster than you, people who are conscious and deliberate about where they are going to with their lives, people who are conscious about the decisions they are making with their lives and the direction to which their lives and their choices are going. You got to be so deliberate with this. Yes. Now the third thing is this. I began to reflect on my dreams and my goals and the expectations and expectancies that I had, that I wrote down 10 years ago. I have been here for 10 years. Yes, gentlemen, ladies of influence, this thought, this little drama that I had with this little boy took me back to my dreams that I said 10 years ago. And I began to ask myself, Oscar, what's the distance between your current position and the reality of those dreams? Assume there was no obstacles. Assume everything worked out as planned. Whoa, I can tell you there's a world of difference. Why? I'm far behind. What's the distance between your current reality and the reality of the dreams that you set for yourself 10 years back? What's the distance and the difference between your current reality and the reality of those dreams? Assuming there were no distractions, assuming there were no odds, assuming everything worked out according to plan, the reality of those dreams that you wrote down 10 years ago. For mine, man, there's a world of difference. And I began to go through my mind, what is it that caused this delay? What stopped me? What stopped you from achieving those dreams? I'm reminded of my experience, the experience I had at the front of Senate Building, National Assembly, Nigeria. Nigeria's highest legislature. That beautiful morning, I was in my production room putting together my recipe to come out with my product, my fruit salads and smoothies. And some customers were already calling, Oscar, Mr. Fruits, can I have this? Can I have that? You know, they had placed their order. And I was so glad. I was walking into Senate Building with the bags to make a delivery. And I remember the same period of time, I was an office assistant, but under volition, I volunteered to do that. So I had a temporary staff ID. So that ID gives me access to every nook and cranny of National Assembly. Yes, and I have that license. I was working freely to every office that I wanted. Customers would call from House Representative and the Senate and different committees, and I would comfortably and easily go in and deliver the product to them and get paid, and I would work out. But that morning, that beautiful morning, I got the smoothies and fruit salads chilled, and I was walking into Senate Building to deliver these products to my clients. And I will never forget, Mr. Friday, he stopped me. He said, young man, can I see your ID? Obviously, he knew me as Mr. Fruits. He knew me as Mr. Fruit. He knew I was not a permanent staff of National Assembly, but I have the ID card. Young man, can I see your ID card? So I showed him my ID card. The next thing, he unpinned it and he pocketed that. He seized my identity. He seized my access and he bounced me back. He seized my ID card and he asked me to turn back. And I looked at him. I said, Mr. Friday, my clients are calling. Mr. Friday looked at me and he said, you clients? He looked down on me. He talked down on me. He maltreated me. They bullied me at that gate that morning. My eyes got glossy. My eyes were clouded with tears. Mr. Friday said to me, get out. I then looked at Mr. Friday. I was already moody. My eyes were covered with tears. And I said, Mr. Friday, my clients are calling. I'm just going in to deliver this. And Mr. Friday said to me, today you're going to show me that man who gave you the ID card and the license to begin to sell fruits, to begin to hawk fruits everywhere around this complex. In reality, there were numerous others who didn't even have the ID card that I had, who didn't even have the license. There were a number of persons who didn't have, the business strategies and tactics that I had, the business approach that I had. Because obviously, you couldn't have looked at me and noticed that I was a fruit vendor, but he knew me. I cried, I wept, my eyes got glossy, and I refused to turn back. The next thing I saw, one Mr. Peter, who was at that same security point, he stood up and he pushed me, and I nearly fell backward, but I paced back a little. Now I regained my balance. It was so embarrassing. Gentlemen, I had this kind of experience over and over and over again. Such bullies pressed me and they repressed me and they forced me to begin to adjust to their pace. They began to force me to adjust from the true picture of my big dreams and my future that I had down to the negative picture of me that they were seeing. So that experience at the front of Senate Building and numerous others alike, they forced me to begin to adjust my pace negatively. Now, these guys, I was on a walk with them, and they were more powerful negatively than I was positively. And I allowed their opinion of me, this opinion that I was not able to achieve those big dreams that I was pushing toward, that I was pressing toward. their opinion of that. Gentlemen and ladies of influence, directly or indirectly, subconsciously, I began to slow down. I began to adjust negatively to their opinion of me. I began to adjust negatively to their own pace. I want to ask you again, Les Brown's question, whose pace have you adjusted to? Whose pace have you adjusted to? So the message here is this: decide to achieve your dreams, your goals at all costs. Be like that little boy who outstretched his muscles and his veins just to keep pace with someone who has a higher velocity of speed. You must take that decision this year in order to succeed. Watch who you go out with. Who is your companion on your journey to greatness? Who's your friend? Show me your friend and I will show you who you are. Birds of the same feather, they flock together. Mind the people that you keep pace with. Do your best. Everything within your abilities. Do your best. Put in beyond what you are willing to put in. Beyond what you are able to put in. Put it in on your pursuit toward greatness. And see to it that let it cost you anything it's going to cost you. Put anything possible, your highest level of energy. Let this rob you of your sleep. Let it rob you a level of slumber, a level of relaxation. Let it rob you. You must give all of this in to see that you achieve the goal and the dream that you have set out to achieve this year. Do your best. Be selective about the people you embark on work with, and do your best. See to it that you work with people who are going to influence you positively. Do your best to be stubborn with your goals. Be consistent and never look back and never pace backward and never adjust your pace negatively. Maintain positive adjustments. And on this, I can guarantee you're going to end your year in a grand style. I remember you're one and only young, vibrant motivator from Nigeria. I started from the sales of fresh tropical fruits, and now I'm in the sales of words that inspire fruitfulness and mental productivity. I am Oscar Chime.